Hello, Hartford. Welcome to another edition of Hartford Community Leaders. Have a wonderful program for you today. We ask you to sit back, relax, join with us 1 hour of good programming. Today, we're going to be discussing the state of Hartford to you on today. We want to get your feedback in the community, the state of Hartford on today. I want to take this opportunity to always thank our staff who brings us great quality programming here on HPA TV. I want Patricia Nelson, who's our chief engineer, Mike and Armando, and also our co-host Lakia Siobhan Leitner. Thank you all for your support and your love. This past week, so it's a sad story to hear you. We had 2 homicides. Hillside Avenue, and we're praying for those families, those loved ones that have faced the difficulties in our community. We're at 18 homicides as of today, 18 homicides in the city of Hartford. We need to do more in our communities to communicate. We need to do more in our communities to work together in our communities. And to take on issues in our community that we need to actually grasp and work at. A lot of people are complaining, saying, well, this, about that, but what are you doing in your community? How are you helping Hartford in your communities? People are so quick to say, oh, they're not doing anything for me and this and that. Okay, but here's the thing. What are you doing to make your community better? That is the question. We talk about the state of Hartford today. I was reading an article online about the state of Hartford. We have this, Hartford is huge. And what's happening is that Hartford is losing a lot of people. They're moving out of Hartford and moving into other states. Okay, so when you look at the numbers and you look at what's going on now, you figure we're at one number, and if people are moving to other states, there's no economic development going on. You have houses that are blight properties that are that no one are in, and they're empty. And you have blight housing, you have poverty in the inner cities, in our communities, and you're looking at people leaving Hartford into moving to other states. You wonder why we're in so much of a deficit and having problems with our political system and arena. So there's no growth. So what we have to do is we have to create economic development in our communities, and not just certain parts of the community. We have to look at creating economic development for the north end and the south end. I'm going to say that again. We have to create economic development for the north end, for the south end. Because when they look at Hartford and they look at the whole situation, they say, well, how come Main Street and the south end is being revitalized with economic development, with new businesses, with new structures, new buildings? How come they're doing that? And then we have the north end where there's a lot of poverty, impoverished neighborhoods, and nothing is being done in the north end of Hartford when it comes down to the economic development, developing new businesses, developing housing, affordable housing, and you're looking at the homeless population, and they say, well, there's a huge amount of homeless population in the North End. But here's the thing is that when we look at the whole picture of it, we have to think about Hartford as an entire whole. We can't just say, well, we're going to do economic development in the South End, and we're going to create nice streetscaping for the South End. But what happens to the North End? We get the crumbs in the North End. What happens is that we get a little streetscape, we get a little plant, a little flower there. But where's the actual economic development? Where's the investment into the North End of Hartford? Where's the communication and the working together between North and South Hartford and versus East to West? Where's that communication at? Today we're talking about the state of Hartford in which we're living in. When you look at Hartford, you look at people are leaving Hartford and moving to other parts of the United States, and we're losing on a daily basis, nonstop. There's no job growth as far as job coming in, creating jobs here in the city of Hartford, and also, building new businesses, creating economic development here. Okay, so what's happening is that they're developing in the downtown district area, going south. And what's happening is that the North End is being looked over. And so we're just here to make known that, hey, we need to think about Hartford as a whole. We can do this thing together. But if there's going to be a separation between north, south, east, and west of Hartford, then that causes problems and issues within our communities. And how can we galvanize our resources together to create more of an economic development for the entire Hartford, Connecticut? Now, there's somebody out there that's saying, I'm fed up with Hartford. I'm done with Hartford. I don't want to see nothing else about Hartford. And, I'm moving to Atlanta, Georgia. I'm moving to North Carolina. I'm moving to South Carolina. Yes, you may be thinking about those things, but don't forget where the bridge you crossed over, all right? What can you do to make Hartford and the state of Hartford better before you leave? If you're planning to leave Hartford, what are you doing in the communities to make Hartford a better place? These are things that we want to say. So what they're doing is building from the North End, Main Street on back to the South End. And what we're saying is that why not build from north to south, east to west? Because when they look at Hartford, they're going to look at Hartford as a whole. Then make a difference of you can build the finest buildings in the South End. You could build the finest facilities right there on Main Street. But what happens to the North End when it comes to our communities? Another thing is that blight housing. We have so much of blight housing is that there is no taxes being paid for those blight housings, and the accountability for those blight houses, the accountability is not there. We don't have the people that's going to make these people accountable for their actions in our communities. So when you talk about blight houses, are these people paying the taxes for those blight housing? So if you got so many different people that own these blight houses and they're not paying taxes, so that's a little setback for our city. So we need to work on those blight houses. We need to work on building affordable housing for our community. We just had a new structure coming up for the Bowles Park and around the University of Hartford area there. And one of the things that's the question I want to ask is the housing there affordable housing for individuals of medium incomes, middle class incomes, or are they housing for people of higher incomes, to move into our cities? These are things that we want to understand in our communities. I've reached out to so many different people, and we haven't got a response back because of the fact that I think they don't want to, let the community know about what's going on. So here's the thing: what we have to do in our communities, wherever you are, you can be north, south, east, west, in the greater Hartford area that covers the whole entire band, East Hartford, West Hartford, I mean, you name it, Vernon, East Hartford, Vernon, Manchester. If you're in these areas, make sure that what they're doing is for economic development for the communities. We need to have more restaurants in the north end. We need to have more businesses, per se, more storefronts, more malls, shopping malls in the north end, so that people in the north end can invest their monies back into the north end. Because what's happening is that people in the south end, they're building mini malls, they're building streetscapes for these new businesses in the south end areas, and they're investing back into their areas. And so when you look at the ratio of the monies that's coming into Hartford, you figure the south end, as taxes and everything, more monies are coming possibly than the north end. But that's not so. A lot of times our dollars and the citizens of the north end dollars are going to playing daily numbers, alcohol, if you're out there today and you're a citizen and you're out there playing those daily numbers and you're on alcohol, you need to take a step back and say, hey, why am I investing money into the daily number, and making our state rich? We need to think about that. If you saved all that money that you spend frivolously on those daily money and substance abuse and alcohol abuse, you can possibly save enough money to purchase one of those affordable homes that they're presenting out here. Frivolous spending, to own a nice house, to own a nice condominium, to own your own car, to own anything that you want to do, to own your own business, and help your family members that are in need of help to stop spending frivolously in our community and invest that money back into those businesses inside the community. Support those businesses inside the community. I think we can come out much better. What are your take on that, Lakia?
Pastor Padgett, you hit it on the nose again, as always.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're absolutely right about the Hartford area and its people.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are prone to move out because they feel like this state has nothing to offer them, and the other states do.
And so when they go to like other states, so they go and they get housing and
Jobs.
jobs.
That's another concern for people, leaving here to go to other states because they claim there's no jobs here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And and so what can we do more better to ensure that in Hartford, what can we do? Is it going to take people to leave here and then to revitalize the whole area and bring in people not of middle income but of higher incomes levels to control Hartford?
I hope it doesn't get to that point, because then the people's voice really don't matter anymore like it does now.
Right.
Yeah.
So what can the community do to make things better in the community?
I think people, they should band together and work towards working together and getting these things tackled. Then you won't have to worry about someone else taking over. But you have people that's just lazy, you know, that's, you know, that doesn't have the confidence that they should to, you know, do what's right in the community. And then you do have people that have confidence and are doing their best, but it can't be one person. It has to take the whole village to, you know, plan out things and get things done the right way.
And so we talk about businesses. You know, back in the 70s and 60s, we had steel mills and, you know, different businesses. We had, you know, Royal Typewriter companies and all of these businesses that brought in revenue. But after those businesses went down, it seems like the economic development went down along with them. You know, we had revitalization downtown Hartford. We had Sage Island. We had all the major chains, Learners downtown, Sage Island, some of the Jupiters downtown Hartford. And downtown was a place where you can go and you could just go and you can go to Grant's to get yourself a meal and then shop. You can, you know, there was Dunkin' Donuts downtown. It was McDonald's downtown. You had your shoe stores. You had your men's stores. You had your women's stores. Everything you needed was in downtown Hartford. But now you go downtown, you have to really search for what you want, and then the pricing of things are so high that it's not affordable. But back then, we had those places where things were affordable. We had J.J. Newberry. J.J. Newberry was almost like a discount store, you know, and they had you know, items in there, clothing, you name it. They had everything in there that you wanted, you know. You know, you had Jupiters. That was almost the same thing. Jupiters. You had, I mean, you had a place where you can go downtown and you can shop, and people would go downtown and get their Christmas items and things like that. Now, everyone has to go to the big malls out of town.
The suburbs.
So when they created the West Farms Mall there, which is in New Britain, Connecticut, you know, a lot of our economic development left, and money's left and went to New Britain. You know, West Hartford, New Britain area. So what we need to do is create more jobs, get more job training for our citizens here, especially in the North End, you know, and is needed. Now, we look at the overall situation, we're looking at substance and drug abuse. Now, it's at a skyrocket high right now, and it's getting higher. Now, if we don't start to create more jobs, if we don't start to create more economic development, then what do you think is going to happen?
I think Hartford in general will be scarce.
Right. So, you know, these are things that we need to get back to, and we need to utilize by going to those city hall meetings in downtown Hartford, and to really push the city hall officials to say, hey, we need to make this happen in the North End, South End, East End. Now, I guarantee you, if you go to those city hall meetings, there are going to be people that's going to be advocating for their own projects, and mostly in South End. And then you have those leaders, the city leaders there, that are working along with them on their project. So why can't we do that for the North End? How come the North End has got to continue taking the crumbs and everyone fighting over those crumbs in the North End? How come we continue to do that? What we need to do is we need to, and I stated this 1 year ago, we need to make sure that we get leaders in office that is going to be for our communities, that's going to work along with our communities. Somebody said, well, I am a leader and I do work with the communities. Yes, you may do so, but where is the economic development at? You can go and work with them at a basketball game, at a football game, you know, all those little basic things that you're doing. But where is the economic development at? How come we still are fighting for jobs? How come we are still fighting for those individuals that have been incarcerated and come back for reentry? They can't find a job. How come you haven't been fighting for those individuals? How come there's no businesses being presented in the North End like it is in the South End? How come we don't have like shopping malls in the North End like they do in the South End? Is it because they think that people in the North End is going to take over the whole entire city?
I think people that they're not prone to
threat.
put it. Yeah, it's a threat, but then you have people that don't know how to take care of things. That could be another issue there as well. As soon as the nice building is pulled up, people are going to put graffiti on there and vandalize the building.
I mean, that happens everywhere, whether north or south. I mean, but the thing is that what we want to do is we want to have economic development from the north end and the south end.
Exactly.
And we want to make this happen so that monies can be generated in our communities, and that we can, start looking at building new structures, new buildings, and create more jobs, create more of an economic development when it comes down to things. I think this can happen. Hartford, if you're out there, what's on your mind? We need to hear from you. Give us a call, 860-658, 860-524-8290. Give us a call. Let us know what you think. If you're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, let us know what you think. The state of Hartford. What are your comments on the state of Hartford? 524-8920, 860-524-8920 is the number. Give us a call. Let us know what you think the state of Hartford is, how we can move forward in our communities. Is it just a North End thing or is it just a South End thing? Why do people complain about what's going on in their areas and they don't reach out to do anything to fix the problem? What can we do in the city of Hartford? I need to hear from you, Hartford. Give me a call, 860-524-8920. If you're on Facebook, let us know that you're out there watching and that you're enjoying the programming. What can we do to make Hartford a better place? All right? All right. Without further ado, Lakia, she's working on a women's power event, and she's going to enlighten us the who's, what's, when's, where's, why's, and how's you can get involved in the empowerment session.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks, Pastor Kaiser. I have an event for us. It's called Connecticut March for Black Women. It will be held on September 28, 2018, from 12 to 1 o'clock at the state capitol. I'm going to open it. I'm going to talk just a short, brief while, and it's going to be open mic. So please come out and voice your opinion on issues that affect you and possible resolutions to the issue that affects Black women. If you have any questions, come out. Just reach out to me. I have a Facebook page titled Connecticut March for Black Women, and I will answer all your questions and concerns.
And so, so this event is happening when?
September 28, 2018.
Okay.
And that's a Friday.
And what are the times during the event?
12 to 1 o'clock.
And give us a little overview of that day. What's going to happen?
I'm going to open up as the host, and I'm going to just talk briefly because I want to give everyone that participates a chance to talk about issues that affect them.
Mm-hmm.
And we can all brainstorm about resolutions that affect them.
Mm-hmm.
And not just them, but the community as well, and work together.
And is it for empowerment also for women?
Yes, empowerment for women.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So you'll have people there from the Hartford community, different parts of the greater Hartford area.
And I have women from other states coming too
Mm-hmm.
that reached out to me.
Now, what is the overall goal for this women march?
I'm hoping to, the women and the men, work together and solve issues that affect us,
Mm-hmm.
people of color.
Now, when you talking saying that there's a women's march, there's going to be predominantly a lot of women there.
It's gonna be some men there.
Okay.
Yeah, I want men to come too. Come on, think about your wife or your mom or your aunt or your daughter, your niece, sister.
Mm-hmm.
Come out, men. We're not discriminating against you. Come on out.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to see the men there as well.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, so this march is being conducted worldwide.
Yes, the bigger one will be in Washington that Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's one in New York that Sunday. And then I guess Boston and the other areas there probably have theirs around that time frame as well. But for Connecticut, I picked Friday.
All right.
Yes.
And so this women's march that you're sponsoring, what are some of the feedback that you've been getting?
I've been getting a lot of feedback, and a lot of women, they reach out to me. They're like, "Oh my God, I can't believe it! You're gonna have one?" It's like unheard of.
And now this march, is this like the first march that you've ever done? Or?
No, I did one last year, and only my college buddy and I showed up.
Yeah. The thing is that this year you've been getting a lot of feedback.
Yes.
Well, the thing is too, promoting, the event. If people don't know about what's going on, you need to promote the event, let people know that, hey, that this event is happening. And I think last time you didn't do any promotion. That's the reason why.
I promoted. I promoted a month in advance, and only my college buddy and I was there at the Capitol.
Well, yeah.
So
well, the thing is that promotion is going and then inviting other entities.
Okay.
And inviting other groups and things like that. So this year, you've been doing a lot more of invitations, and so you're expecting 100+
Yes.
people to be there at the event.
Yes.
And so that's what you want to shoot for. And what is your goal? How many people do you think you want to? Is it going to be 100 or 1,000?
It'd be nice to have 1,000 or more.
Okay.
Because I know Washington, they're gonna, I want it to be big.
We have so many viewers out there that will want to get involved, and this is the Black Women's March.
No, it's Connecticut March for Black Women.
Oh, Connecticut March for Black Women.
Yes, and I have a Facebook page I established last year. All the details are on there, and also if you want to just order the tickets are free. You can just go to Eventbrite.com and order your tickets. They're absolutely free if you want to go that route.
So the women, Black women, or any women.
Any woman. You don't have to be a woman of color. Any woman can come to the march.
And so, all right, where are you going to be marching from?
We're just going to start at the Capitol. We're just going to be there.
And just kind of
Yes.
gather together.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And so you're going to have women of business there?
Yes, all kinds of women. It doesn't matter your status. Just come out and get on the mic and talk about issues that affect you. And we want to all band together to resolve those issues together. And stay in contact.
Now, how important is it to empower women? Now, do women feel in the workforce, do they feel like more threatened in the workforce than that they have to prove themselves in the workforce, and also salaries in the workforce?
Well, I have to say it's much better now for us women than our grandmother era, because our grandmother era, they wouldn't say anything. But my era, we're saying lots, and we're actually getting what we want. But then again, as we know, salaries, we're not getting, we're not getting paid as much as the guys are in some career fields. It's still that margin there. So yeah, the equality factor in it is still relevant.
Do you think women will feel more timid as to getting higher positions, like administrator positions or supervisor positions? They may feel more threatened to apply for those positions because they think that they won't get support from everyone in those work fields?
No, because they know that it's a new day. We look out for each other. We have more voice than in any era. Our grandmother era, grandmother, they didn't do the things we do. So I don't think they'll be threatened at all. I think if there's an issue on our work place, they will resolve it. Yeah.
So these are the things that you're going to be talking about in your march, during the rally session, during the march, and getting the women and as you said, men together.
Yeah, men, come out. We want to see you too. We want to hear you on the mic. What would you like us,
women to?
Yeah, we want to hear your feedback. Yeah.
And yeah.
And don't worry, we won't do anything. No worries, men.
Yep. So when it comes down to the march itself, how come in like Boston or Washington D.C. you have tens and thousands of individuals that come out for those marches, and when we look at the city of Hartford, we try to galvanize our women to come and march, and they don't feel confident.
They'd rather catch a flight to Washington or drive down to Boston than come support here.
What are you doing to make people to reach out to those that feel they're not confident enough to, come to your march? I mean, are you reaching out to those individuals and kind of going out talking to the women to see why they to gain their support?
Well,
because what happens if you empower the ones that's not able to make those that wants to make the event, but just kind of like say, I think I might make it or I might not make it. Are you going to talk to them and say, hey, let's come out and let's support? Even if you don't have a voice, just come out to support. So.
Yeah, that's very true. I let women know it's about them. It's not about me. Sure, I'm the organizer. Sure, I'm the host. But I'm going to say something briefly, and the mic is on everybody else. I wanted to make it about them, and we all can band together and work together and resolve these issues that they're going to bring to the march.
What are some of the issues that face women on today? I mean, just give us maybe 5.
I have to say racism, sexism, equality as far as pay, sexual abuse, and I would have to say discrimination. Those would be my 5. Yes.
And so why do you think it's important for these issues to reach out to the community and voice concerns? I mean, is it something that, why do you think it's important?
I think it's important because it affects, women every day, and some women they don't have the confidence that they should have, to get their to get their voices out there, their concerns,
right.
And get it resolved, and then you have women like me that's something wrong, I'm gonna fix it, I'm gonna get it done. So it's always those 2 women,
Well, Hartford, hey, if you have a question for Lakia, she's hosting
the Connecticut March for Black Women, September 28th, 2018.
All right. If you have a question for Lakia, and you want to participate in this march, and this forum, you can type in your question, some of the questions that you may have. Somebody out there may want to attend this march and they just want more information about what's going on. You can type in your question And Lakia is here to answer your question any way as possible. This march is for women of color and any women, but mostly women of color, and you want to support one another. We want you to come on out to this event. It always happens September the 28th, all right, from
12 to 1.
12 p.m. to 1 o'clock p.m. at the state capitol, all right? And she has a Facebook page out there for those of you that would like to attend. Is there anything else you would like to say about the march and again rallying people together to support you in your march?
I just want people to come out. It's for you. It's not just for me. It's for you, and get your concerns out there. And like I said, we have to work together to fix these issues. If we don't come out and talk, how are we going to resolve these issues that affect us every day? There's no sense in complaining.
Is there a plan to kind of go over some of the things that after the march? Because a lot of times what people do is they'll have a march, and then
they don't follow through.
They don't follow,
and then nothing gets accomplished.
And nothing gets accomplished.
I want people, come out to the march, talk about what affects you, and let's all work together and get it done. So it history doesn't have to keep going.
All right. So you heard it. However, if you would like to participate in this march, you can inbox us your information. We definitely can get that information out to you. Also, happening in Hartford, just want to let you know what's going on. The Albany Avenue Safety Improvement Projects. All right. As we stated earlier about economic development, they can put a little plant and flowers right on Albany Avenue and make the street look nice and neat a little bit. But where is the economic development happening? Monies are being spent on streetscape, a little plant some flowers on the side of the road. All that's great, but what happens to the actual economic development with the businesses on Albany Avenue? All right? Are the businesses on Albany Avenue receiving help to support their business, or are they being driven out because of lack of resources, because of lack of people supporting them? What can you do to support the businesses in Hartford is what we're saying, so that we can have an economic growth right here in the north end of Hartford on Albany Avenue. So, you have these organizations, they come in and they say, okay, we want to see this or we want to see that, but they don't think about the existing businesses that are there that are struggling from day to day. And that if you look at their building, they got old signs.
The paint need to be replaced.
Yeah. Signage, in the front of the building, there's no grass.
Or if they have grass, it's not mowed properly. Yeah.
And then you have a business that's struggling because, who wants to go to a rat-infested restaurant?
Nobody.
And things like that, and a restaurant that's not kept up, not clean. You know what I'm saying? So these are things that you need to invest when you take a look at economic development. And I'm talking about these city leaders. You need to take opportunity to look at it and say, hey, this is happening in the community, and we need to fix what has been broken in our communities. And a lot of things have been broken and nothing has been being fixed. Everything has been patched up. Even our schools. I've been to many meetings, and and then you look at the auditorium in the schools, and you look at the ceiling in the schools. The ceilings look like they've been patched.
Or they're leaking.
The walls are being patched. But if you go to West Hartford and you look at those floors, you can drop something on those floors and then pick it back up. And that's how clean the floors are.
Or their maintenance person is right there to
yeah,
clean it up.
Yeah, and you can see yourself in the floors. But if you come to Hartford and the Hartford floors, I mean, come on. We look at the school that we had over there on John C. Clark Elementary School, you know, with the asbestos there over on Barber Street. You know, that was a major loss for our North End community, because John C. Clark Elementary School had been there for many of years. Since I was a lad, I was a product of John C. Clark Elementary School. And so just to see that it left Hartford is just disheartening, to see our elementary school, a major elementary school in the city of Hartford that made impact in our city with our youth, is not there anymore. The building is there, but there's no school there now. What can we do to make that happen, to revitalize that whole area there on Barber Street? So we have John C. Clark Elementary School is not there anymore. How come we can't place a nice mini mall to replace it for economic development? I think that can be done, to place a nice mini mall right there on Barber Street. And we as community leaders and members, we should be able to come together to say, hey, this is the plan that we want to see for the Clark Street School, elementary school right there on Barber Street. How can we can make this happen, Hartford? We can definitely make this happen. You know, don't let what happened to J.C. Clark happen to our whole neighborhood. All right, make a plus out of it. Let's community organizations in that area, community leaders in that area, let's band together to start meeting right now to say, hey, this is what we want to do for that particular area. We want to purchase that property right there, all right, for economic development. You know, asbestos, there's been many buildings with asbestos, but they've been replaced, all right? So let's get everything replaced, all brand new, create economic development, mini mall, have our restaurants in there, have a nice mini mall in there where we can create jobs for our community. Also, people can go there and shop and spend their monies. And along the whole entire Barber Street, we can revitalize Barber Street.
That's right.
And it could be like you going into downtown Hartford. Now, how would that sound like? You know, you come into the center of hope, and you have economic development, nice buildings, you know, businesses and everything. It can be done. Well, the project on Albany Avenue is still underway, and they have a website on Facebook. You can go out there to the Albany Avenue Hartford Project. All right, Albany Avenue Hartford Project on Facebook, and you can get information about what's going on as far as the project is concerned. Now, they send out new releases every single week, once or twice a week, on what they're doing for that new scape on Albany Avenue. And this week, we have Monday, September 3rd, no construction. And construction will resume today, starting at 7 a.m. And it's already started. And they will give us a schedule update, will be sent the week of September 3rd. So they'll give us another update on the project this entire week. But each and every week they've been graciously updating us about what's going on, and the progress that they're making with the streetscape on Albany Avenue project. I think it's great that they're doing that. All right, and so there's a lot of announcements here that was just sent over through our community. And one of the things that announcement we want to make is that we want to welcome back our teachers and our children here in Hartford, the Hartford school teachers. They do so much for our communities. And they sent out a nice welcome back to those teachers and to those children. Also, on the agenda that we got an email from is the Mark Twain House tours, free for Hartford residents through the end of the year. It says the Mark Twain House Museum, the one-time home of Hartford's most published resident, is offering free tours to all city residents through the end of 2018. Hartford residents must provide proof that they live in the city to be entitled to a free regular tour of Farmington Avenue home where Samuel Clemens and his wife Livy lived from 1874 to 1891. The free tours are sponsored by the Hartford. All visitors, including city residents, must still pay for special tours, including the museum living history tour. So that's a great thing that they have. And if you want to get your young people out, make sure they go out to the Mark Twain House tour, free for Hartford residents. Take your child to the Mark Twain House. Also, if you want to take your time, the Mystic Aquarium.
Mm-hmm.
Take your child to Mystic Aquarium, and to get them out to experience the different life. All right, there will be a city council meeting, and that was held, and that's going to be held September 10th, 7:00 p.m. And it precedes a public comment. And all meetings are held at the council chambers in Hartford City Hall, 550 Main Street on the second floor. Once again, Hartford, you need to be there. Voice your concerns about your community economic development in our community. Also, voice your concerns about the $5.8 million that was spent on the Keeney Park golf course, and what was given back to the North End residents or the city residents from that project. $5.8 million was allocated to the golf course. What happened to the money? Where is it at now? How come it hasn't been presented back into our communities? The golf course has been redone, and most people that are using that golf course are people from out of town, and not city residents. How come if the city residents wanted to use that golf course, they have to pay so much money to use that golf course? How come they can't go out there and play golf and the pricing is reasonable? Those are the questions that we're asking our city officials. How come? You need to make that known at the city council meeting happening September 10th at City Council 550 Main Street. Ask those questions to your city council leaders. Ask those questions. How come we don't have enough jobs, housing, affordable housing? How come we don't have economic development in the North End, and we see economic development more in the South End? Ask those questions at City Hall It all takes place 7 o'clock. Get there 6 o'clock for the public forum to ask your question. Sign that sheet and go in and have your plan written down and ask them why. And I'm quite sure they can give you an answer. All right? All right, Hartford, we got about 7 more minutes left in the program. Make sure you support. Also, Hartford Community Leaders, we're setting up an empowerment session program for youth. And if you want to get your youth involved with this youth empowerment session program, you can give us a call, 860-463-3561, or inbox me on how you can support and help with the efforts of our youth empowerment session happening real soon. We need to hear from you, Hartford, and the person that's spearheading that endeavor is Patricia Nelson. She's our chief engineer here. She wants to hear from you. Give us a call, inbox us, and I'll forward your information over to her so that she can reach out to you to get your youth involved. We need teenagers, we need young people, we need from ages, I would say 5 on up, to attend this youth empowerment session, ages 5 on up, and bring some of the younger kids. We got something for you too. But from kids ages 5 on up to 18, 24, we need to make sure that you are there. We need teenagers to work with us. We need churches to work with us. We need organizations. We need businesses to work with us to make this happen for our Youth Empowerment Summit 2018. We need you to contact us. 860-463-3561 is the number. Inbox me. Please, if you're listening to this message, inbox me. We want you to support. We want your church to get involved. We want your organization to get involved for this empowerment, Youth Empowerment 2018, sponsored by Hartford Community Leaders, and make that happen soon. All right, Hartford, we'll see you next time. Same channel, same place. God bless.
Bye. Have a great week.
Peace. Peace out.
Okay, sure.